This game I've been working on for about 6 months now is finally complete. I started this game after my Space Western game video, and the idea of this game was to make something similar but better, and I think it's a big improvement. I've learned a lot of new skills over the months, and I want to continue expanding and experimenting with this universe I have created with this game. For now, here is how I made it. This is Astronaut Zen, the protagonist and playable character, and this is his 3D mesh and concept art. And here is all the other character concept art, but the captain wasn't conceptualized this early on, and so it doesn't have any concept art. I made a few posters and hung them up on the space station, and they were heavily inspired by propaganda posters. At the time I didn't understand how to rig, so I used Mixamo and got my animations from that. But I figured out how to rig now, and my next game will be using my own animations hopefully. For the time being, I named my game Astronaut Game, and I used the third person template. I inputted the characters' meshes and then set them up with animation blueprints. I added a sliding and flying mechanic with particles. Originally I had an idea of a laser attached to the player's arm, but this gets changed later as this didn't feel like a fun game mechanic. I finished concept art and meshes for the other characters. I made the game low poly so I could work on actually finishing the game, as high or mid characters would take a lot longer to produce. That would take a long time. I made a rig for Rocker. I ended up making a total of 2 animations for Rocker in Unreal, Idle and Move Forward. Here are the other characters: a creature, a reused alien from a Space Western game, cyborg gas station owner, galactic general, galactic officer, and Rocker the robot. I made a particle muzzle for the laser that wasn't even used in the final game. I created a random audio generator. This is when I decided to scrap the arm attached laser and add a handheld gun laser weapon thing, and so I added from Mixamo gun handheld animations. Fire particle for the jetpack. I modeled the laser gun and the antagonist's laser sniper. I used the Star Sphere pack from the Unreal Marketplace. I added health and armor progress bars and ammo HUD numbers. Dynamic spread crosshair. Cleaned up the HUD to all be blue. I made a hovering ammo pickup. Now the AI can be killed and die and fall on the ground and die and be dead. I added ragdoll physics instead of just destroying the actor. I found, made and added a bunch of sound effects to the editor files. I added different sound effects for when stepping on different surfaces for sand, mud, metal and grass. I started to experiment with the general's colors, and you can see on the poster that the eyes were originally green because they originally were, but changed red, and I kept it as green in the poster because it adds a bit of contrast considering how much red is on the poster. I then used this tutorial by Unreal CG to make this material, which was pretty much used for my ripoff of a VATS TTD mechanic sort of thing. So the gun does more damage when the mechanic is activated, and time is slowed down, and the character has limited time to use the mechanic until the progress bar runs out. Blood particle. I added water materials from the Unreal Marketplace. I then tested the toon shader with a quick level that wasn't used in the final game. Here are some laggy low FPS early footage of shooting. I watched this video of a GDC talk on Fallout 4 asset kits and modular level design, which kinda made me realize that my levels in the Space Western game were outdated and had to be improved, so I started working on hallway and space station assets. I started a space station level with new assets. I made a door that opens automatically, but later I binded it to the E key, which is used to interact with people, a computer, and doors in the game as well. I used the planets from the Star Sphere pack because they look really good. I started editing audio on the side of game development. I've been writing a script and recording lines. This process was kind of rushed and wasn't the best, but let me explain the story. Spoilers ahead. My last video showed the story in action, but I'm about to drop the lore. Also, the music in the game wasn't implemented in the game and was added afterwards in the final video render, so I can match it up better with the gameplay. Anyway, there is a galaxy called Galactica. It has western sci-fi like planets, and the galaxy has order and law set by the Galactic Defense Institution. And there is an outlaw astronaut called Zen, who has a robot called Rocker and a spaceship. Together, they hold a bounty of $5,000. Because they're outlaws, they have a heist planned, but first they need to infiltrate the Galactic Defense Institution, so they put Operation A in procedure. But they fail to gain access and get captured by the Galactic General. Rocker is transferred to the planet Caloria, to the city of Duray, that has been taken over by the GDI and changed into a vault/camp/area by the Galactic General, and Zen has been temporarily jailed on the GDI space station, which he then escapes through a vent using his jetpack. I know they wouldn't give him the jetpack when he's in the jail, but it makes no sense, okay? He wants to get Rocker back, so he picks up a fuse on the planet Yama and then lands on Caloria to get directions from a cyborg gas station owner. Now he either sneaks through the vault by disguising himself or shoots his way through, until eventually he gets punched and knocked out until he wakes up in a jail again, talking to the general, and they make a deal. If Zen wins against the creature in the arena, then the general will let him leave with Rocker, but when Zen takes down the undefeated huge creature, the general is surprised and can't believe what happened. So the corrupted general goes back on his deal and fights Zen. When Zen also takes down the general, he finds Rocker and they escape to Zen's spaceship, which was impounded by the GDI. The game then ends with the captain of the Galactic Defense Institution giving a speech about the situation with the outlaw and corrupt general to the public. Okay. Now, the script I wrote was written in a day or two, and it didn't have a lot of finalizing and interesting narrative techniques like plot twists, for example, and I think there is plenty of room for improvement for future endeavors. Okay, let's continue. I made a main menu sequence along with the levels. I didn't show this as much as I should have, but pretty much I made some assets and added them to my levels and had a lot of trouble with learning how to unwrap and use UVs and build lighting, and a lot of that wasn't fixed or have quick workarounds which I hope to improve upon. Here's the simple companion Rocker AI with 2 animations. Here is a quick showcase of the levels. I made some cutscenes, and this is what the HUD looks like. I wanted the user interface to have a hologram tech look. Here's the pause menu, and here's the ammo, this is the tactical time dilation, this is armor, and this is the health. I wanted to point out some of the problems in the final game that I didn't fix, but I will improve on in the future. There are just a lot of UV and lighting problems, overlapping UVs. Here's a little showcase of them. I really like the simple AI for the galactic officers, firing when they can see the player, but the general was too simple. I had given it all these other functions originally like flying, crouching, and fleeing, but I removed it after the blueprint got too messy. And so I just made the general fire every 3 seconds, which makes it easier for the player to avoid getting shot if the player picks up on that pattern. And the general wasn't as powerful as I wanted him to be. He didn't even inflict any damage on the health, but only when armor when I played it. Maybe next time I'll remove armor regeneration and have the player use food, for example, from an inventory system instead. And to end this off, here is all of the third person blueprints. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I want to continue expanding on this universe. So I'm going to work on a new game very similar to this one, but even more expanded, and I'll have to upload videos in devlogs showing progress of the game. This game I have finished is like a demo beta version of the game I'm about to start. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, subscribe to see more like it in the future. I have to go now. My planet needs me. I modeled the laser gun weapon and the antagonist's laser sniper. I modeled the laser gun. I modeled the laser gun weapon and the antagonist's laser. I modeled the laser gun weapon and the antagonist's laser sniper. I modeled the laser gun and the antagonist's laser sniper and the antagonist's laser sniper and the antagonist's laser sniper. That's a hard word to say. And the antagonist's laser sniper. Does that sound weird?